All right, if you guys are looking to scale your business using cold email, then this video is going to basically show you exactly how to do that, and I'll show you live proof and case studies of exactly what we've been able to do for a client of ours, where pretty much 8 months ago they did not send a single cold email, they didn't book a single appointment, and how we've gone from that to pretty much generating the first 1,000 sales opportunities for them, which are pretty much people raising their hand, showing interest, and exactly how we did it, and what some of the mistakes were, and what some of the lessons were, and really where a lot of people make mistakes with this. So if you guys don't know me already, my name is Zane Bradshaw. I'm the founder of Acquirely. This is Acquirely right over here. Basically, we build outbound systems that book sales calls on autopilot. So if you need that for your business, make sure to head over to acquirely.io and book in a strategy session one-on-one to see if we can help you do that. Now, let's jump into Instantly, which is pretty much the sending software we're using, at least at the time of this recording, for our cold emails. So a couple things. So firstly, this is inaccurate. Sometimes Instantly is slow. If we pretty much refresh, it should be able to populate. I think I need to change it to last 7 days. There you go. Now you can see a little bit of a difference, and there it should change that as well. So today is also the 8th, so pretty much it is the last 7 days. Anyways, let's come through to the last 6 months alone, okay? And we can see over here that we actually hit 1.3K, so 1,300 opportunities for this client specifically. We sent 223,000 emails. Out of that, approximately 70,000 of them, so 69,000, were contacted for the first time. So those are unique leads. And then the rest of them, the 154,000, were follow-up emails that we sent to those initial 69,000 contacts. So if you see the open rate and the click rate, they're both on 0, and that is because we're not tracking either of those metrics. We want to do that to avoid deliverability issues, so we can pretty much disable these. And our reply rate was 5.5%. So you can see we were able to generate 3,800 unique replies out of the 69,000 contacts that were contacted for the first time, leads, okay? And basically, out of these 3,800 replies that we got, approximately 1,300 of them were interested, right? So that's important. We don't want to be dealing with people who are not interested. We only want to be dealing with the interested leads, because those are pretty much like gold for the sales team, for the business, right? And so, yeah. Now, this number over here, $23,000, this is actually not accurate. In fact, in the settings, we need to adjust this, because the average number that we've put for how much an opportunity is worth, we've put it in Instantly as significantly lower than what it is in reality. Realistically, like, this is just what the appointment setter would earn alone, right, in this period of time. So this is pretty much just the appointment setter, or SDR, their earnings. But in reality, the actual cash that was collected is in the multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And contract value is even more than that. Contract value is about $350,000, and actual cash collected was around $220,000. So let's come over into some of the campaigns, and you can see the infrastructure we're running on the back end to be able to create these kinds of results is, quite frankly, a little bit complex, right? There's a lot that goes into this. And so here's a couple of the lessons. Lesson number 1, and this is really where a lot of people make the mistake, is diligence, okay? It's kind of a characteristic. It's a trait you want to bring in to make marketing work. And it's not just for cold email. This is really just a lesson for anyone who's trying to get marketing to work, right? Which is, the trait you want to have is diligence. Basically, what diligence is pretty much being on top of things, right? You want to make sure that you're not slipping. That's first and foremost. It's like, if the treadmill is running, right? You climb on that treadmill, you turn it on. Step number 1 is make sure the treadmill does not turn off, right? Make sure you're not stopping. make sure that if you have a daily or weekly or twice a week cadence to do quality assurance, make sure that you are actually doing it, right? That's step one. So I suppose diligence can also come hand in hand, parallel with consistency, right? Because, and they are two different things. Consistency is obviously just not stopping. Diligence is making sure that we're doing our checks and everything is taken care of, right? So consistency will be the cadence at which you're doing it, right? If you know you're supposed to do it twice a week, you're doing it twice a week and you're just not stopping. That's the consistency. Diligence is this. If we know we're supposed to be sending, let's say, 3,000 emails a day. Diligence is, or let's say 2,000 emails a day, whatever it is. Diligence is this, making sure we're actually sending that level of volume. Okay? Step one is just make sure you're hitting your targets. That's easier said than done. Like, way easier said than done. Okay? If we come to the last 7 days, we can see over here, we hit 4,000 emails. Our target is 4,000 emails. We hit 4,000 emails. Okay? Second day, we hit 4,000 emails. Third day, okay, boom, we hit 1,800. And I actually had to contact Instantly Support, right? And I was like, hey guys, why did we not hit 4,000 emails? I did that on the 6th, okay? This was like 2 days ago. I basically contacted them. I'm like, hey guys, why did we not hit the target? Because like, this is life or death important to me. That is diligence, okay? So I would kind of say these are two lessons, firstly, and these are two traits. Again, consistency, number one, which is in your inputs, right? Your inputs need to be consistent. But then number two, you need to be diligent on the outputs. You need to make sure that you're hitting your targets every single day, every single week, every single month. And the reason I say this, guys, is because this is one of the lowest hanging fruits that majority of people I speak to, and I hop on a one-on-one and I coach them, or I'm building their systems, and we're missing the target and we're not hitting the goal that we initially planned to hit. If it's ever that in the initial phases, it's because either consistency is not there or diligence is not there. We're not being diligent enough. So those are the first two things. Number three, I would say, is split testing. And again, I just want to emphasize, this is not just for cold email. This is actually just marketing fundamentals. This can work for any marketing channel, okay? Let me switch back here to the last 6 months. And we are about 9 months in, so we can even switch to the last 12 months and we'll see it's even higher. There, 260K. So yeah, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the 9th month we're in now. But yeah, 6 months. What's interesting as well, right, is the first 3 months were significantly less volume than the last 6 months, right, that we had. So I would say that would be persistence is the third lesson, right? And these are, again, just fundamentals. These are traits, characteristics. Is, guys, the first 3 months of this whopping campaign, I would say this is a campaign that really worked. Okay, if we calculate the opportunity rate, we have 1,300 opportunities out of 69,255 contacts or leads contacted for the first time. That's an opportunity rate of 1.87%. I would say that is a success, okay? Especially because it's profitable. Right now, for this client specifically, every dollar we're spending on sending cold email and running this infrastructure that we've built for them in-house, they're able to turn that into $11 of revenue, right? So we have I would say a ROAS of 11x, right? Or just a CAC to LTV. It's not even a CAC to upfront revenue of 11 to 1, which is pretty insane, or really 1 to 11. And then on the back end, it's usually, now this is a coaching offer. For an agency offer, it's usually 2x on the back end. So if your front end is, let's say, $3,000, your back end should be an extra $6,000 for a total of $9,000 or $10,000. That's typically the ratios. For a coaching offer, which is this offer specifically, usually the back end should be twice as much, or it should be equal to the front end. So LTV should be double. Okay. In this case, their average cart value or average upfront revenue or average sale, I would say, is $4,000 to enter their program, their coaching program. And so on the back end, they have ongoing, support, and they have one-on-one coaching that they're upselling and all that kind of stuff. So on average, their back end overall, let's say overall LTV is $8,000. Okay. Which is powerful because we're getting an 11-to-1 return on ad spend just on front end revenue. Okay. Meaning if he can sustain the back end revenue for each of his clients as it is, it should actualize within a 12-month period to about 22-to-1 return if it is going to sustain at this rate. The other interesting thing is because we're doing cold email, this is why I like cold email. Two main reasons, guys. Number one, it's decentralized, meaning it's not reliant on any one social media platform like Facebook, for example, right? If you're doing Facebook ads, Facebook can quite frankly end your marketing channel within 60 seconds. They can just ban your account and choose legally to not re-enable it. And you could just overnight lose your entire marketing channel, right? An entire deal flow source, right? Whereas with cold email, you can't do that. Like, yeah, the email service providers can turn off your email addresses and whatever, but you can just create new ones. And so it's very decentralized for that reason. The second thing I like about it is the fact that it is consistent, right? It's predictable. It's linear. So whatever happens today will tend to continue as long as the market itself doesn't overall overly adjust, right? Or change, which markets do change. But in this case, as long as we're running the overall protocol of running the split tests and being diligent and being consistent, it will self-actualize into an optimization mechanism that will constantly adjust to market conditions. And that is what I love about this. So there's other reasons why I love it as well. But yeah, these are the main ones, guys. So yeah, I mean, diligence was really a big part to play when it came to this because, again, and persistence. Because in the first 3 months, guys, this is one of the caveats to this. It's a slow burn. It takes a while to get this thing to run, right? It takes a while to get this thing to ramp up, to even start seeing any kind of positive results. The first 3 months were very slow. In fact, the client was a bit demotivated, right? It's like, hey, are you even going to be able to hit the goal that we initially agreed on in the contract? And we just had to keep reassuring them, like, hey, man, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. And most agencies fail at that point because it is tough for the untrained mind. However, when you get enough experience with this kind of stuff, you know what the market trend and what the overall system trend should look like. And I just knew that once we can hit a critical mass of split tests, right, and of market feedback, right? These are feedback loops. And so essentially, guys, what this is it's evolution, right? It's cause and effect. And like I'm saying, it's feedback loops. This is how anything in life evolves, right? It's a law of life. And essentially it's also a version of alchemy, right? Where we're taking a certain piece of matter, right, in a current state, and we're taking that state and we're adding something to it. But at the same time, we're trying 5 different versions of that. We're taking the best one that has proven to create results, and we're merging it into that thing. And so essentially what it becomes is a new version of matter. Then we're taking that new version, right? Just like software, right? Just like code, just like an app, right? We have different versions. Version 12.3 of iOS or whatever, right? I think we're on version, I don't know, version 17, 18 right now. So each one of those versions were a buildup of the previous version. If we look at iOS version 1 versus version 17, it's very difficult for Apple at version 1 to create version 17. What that tells us, and this is a truth, right? This is the largest company on planet Earth. They could not create the version they have today as version 1. They could not do it. And they did not do it. And it is statistically proven in many forms of proof that version 17 is significantly higher performing, higher functionality, higher performance than version 1. So again, this is a truth, right? It's an underlying principle. This is looking at things in the first principle context, which is the right mindset. It's a mental model, right? But yeah, guys, so basically that is how I'm able to get cold email to work at scale, and I can do it for any client, right? Our success rate is 100%. We have never failed at cold email, and this is the reason why. It's because we've created a protocol that's able to work at scale across any industry, any type of business, so long as, this is why we have it on the business on our website, who we serve and who we don't serve, right? As long as it's one of these, if you're any one of these, it can work for you, okay? And again, if you need help for this, just hit the link below and we can help you do this as well. So as long as it's in this industry, it's 100% success rate every time because the protocol works for this. We avoid offers like these because the success rate is not going to be there because, well, quite frankly, it's not even legal, technically speaking, to be contacting B2C via cold email. So yeah, that's the cool part. It's like, as long as it's within that industry criteria, it's 100% success rate because as long as we're running the protocol, as I'm saying, and we're running enough split tests, enough variations, enough statistically significant data running through the system, it is almost impossible for it not to become version 2, version 3, version 4. And so if we come into here and we look at all of these different tests, right, you can see here, this is version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4. I want you guys to take a look at some of the results, right? And quite frankly, can even come over here and let's say in May, or even, I think we started in March, like the end of March. Let's see. Over here, we sent 8,600 emails, right? We sent to 4,300 contacts. We generated 6 opportunities, okay? That was an opportunity rate of 0.13%, okay? Which is crazy. Like comparing to what it is today, which is actually 12 times. I think it's something like 12 times higher, okay? Probably more. That's pretty crazy. Let's come over and we can take a look at March, April. Let's look at April. We can see over here, we sent to 8,492 contacts. We generated 8 opportunities. Okay. Which was even worse. It was 0.09%. Meaning, compared to the results we have today, it's like 18 times difference. Or even 20 times the difference today. Okay. That is the power of cause and effect. That's the power of feedback loops and alchemy, right? If we come to April, May, let's take a look at the full month of May. I'm pretty sure this one was better. Here we go. So we sent to, this was our first 1% opportunity rate month. We generated 123 opportunities out of 12,392. It's literally on the dot 1%. Look at that, 0.99%, okay? This was a great month. This is some good data, okay? You can see things really picked up. What's interesting though, guys, is still today, because we did not stop, because we were persistent, and because we were diligent, we were still able to get almost double, about 80% more results okay? Higher optimized results than what it is even on this good month, which, by the way, this was like month 4, okay? Just imagine that. You're 120 days in, and you're only starting to get results now, okay? This was May, so let's take a look at June. For the month of June, we sent the same amount of volume, but less contacts, okay? So we had 117 opportunities out of 7590, which was 1.5%. Interesting, right? But what was the rule here? We had to persevere for another month, okay? Another month, and now we're starting to see some results are picking up. Let's take a look at July. July was a big month, okay? Look at this, guys. This is insane. We generated 401 opportunities, okay, out of 21,584 contacts. It's 1.85%. Now, can you guys recall that the overall opportunity rate for the system was 1.85%? That's including the months where we had 0.09%. That's including the month that we had 0.13%. Meaning, the more recent campaigns have been even better than this month. And I'll show you here in a second. Okay, so this was July. I'm showing you guys real stats, real proof of what this stuff actually looks like when you persevere. Okay, this was a smaller month. The client needed to take a break. He had his birthday. He needed to travel, XYZ. He was doing podcasts. So he was like, hey, let's pause this thing. Good lesson here. His lesson was, I will never do that again. Do not pause the system. Big lesson here, okay? However, even on a paused month, we still generated 82 opportunities out of 2,400 contacts. That's a 3.4%. Guys, on a month where we paused everything, we were still able to generate 3.4% opportunity rate, which is insane, okay? So that was August. Let's come to September. We can see over here, out of 5,898 contacts, okay, we were able to generate 185 opportunities times 100. Let me remove this. I don't know why that's there. Ladies and gentlemen, even at a larger scale, we were able to generate 3.1% opportunity rate. So again, you can see overall in the workspace, right, for the 6 months, let's see over here, it's 1.85%, right? Let's cut this. So 1,300 out of 69,255, 1.87%. Again, that's including the bad months, okay? That's including the bad months. If we take a look, again, now with the more recent data, it's almost like 80% better than that great result we've had overall in the workspace, right? So that was August. Let's come to, I think that was actually September, right? Yep. Okay, let's take a look at October. And guys, this is why you don't want to pause, okay? Because it takes a lot more effort to ramp back up. As you can see, we're still not fully ramped up yet compared to like June or July, sorry. But last month in October, we sent to 11,900 contacts and we generated 288 opportunities. And 63, okay? 2.4% opportunity rate for last month. And then obviously for this month so far, we are in November. It is November 8th today. I mean, the start of November 8th. So really we ended yesterday on November 7th. We've generated 77 opportunities out of 9,939. We got 0.7% opportunity rate so far, right? Obviously that's because majority of the people have not even replied yet. And we're still going to be waiting. Usually it will actualize over a 2 to 4 week period where we'll get most of the opportunities. I would say about 90% of them. Okay. So, but yeah, again, overall, guys, this is what it looks like. Okay. This is what it looks like. We've also recently increased volume. You can see we were hovering around the 3,000 email mark. We've recently increased it now to 4,000 emails a day instead of 3,000. So we've increased it by 30%, okay? And that's also why the opportunity rate is slightly lower right now, is because, again, it takes 2 to 4 weeks to actualize. So maybe in 2 to 4 weeks' time, I would say in about a month's time, it should jump back up, even on this new volume that we have here, okay? So guys, this is the realistic roadmap of what it looks like. You can see the highs and the lows, the wins and the losses. It was not perfect. You can see we took a period of time here, 18th of August to 7th of September, where we didn't send anything, okay? And you can see real numbers, how it dropped, right? It just dropped. And then we struggled to get it back up. Another thing here, this is why consistency is one of the traits you need to have. Why? Because right here, as we can see, it takes, just in life in general, it takes significantly more effort and energy and velocity to get back into where you were previously. So what that means is to launch takes significantly more energy and power than it does to maintain, okay? And the reason why many people struggle is because they're not consistent, and they'll basically do this and then they'll drop, and they'll do this and they'll drop, and they'll do this and they'll drop, okay? And they'll come here and they'll drop. That is what you want to avoid. The most important thing you want to have is this. You just want to have it stable. Every period of time where we were stable, we had the best results. If we come over to July, right? You'll actually see that in July, we also had the most opportunities. This was the best month we had. Okay? Look at this. 400 opportunities in a month. And we had the highest, one of the highest opportunity rates. We had a 2% opportunity rate, just under 2%. But we had the most absolute opportunities, which, by the way, is the goal. Opportunity rate is not actually that important. What matters most for the business is the absolute number, right? Absolute opportunities. That is what's most important. So, yeah, guys, any one of you guys can do this, okay? This type of system can work for any one of your businesses. But what's most important is if you're hiring an agency, make sure that they know how to do this and have all these traits. If you're looking for an agency, make sure that you have an agency that does these things that I'm mentioning, because it's these traits, these characteristics, right, that matter way more, okay, than a quick fix. Because we don't just want something, the whole reason we're running cold email is we don't want something that's only going to work today like Facebook ads, okay? We don't want to just have content that we have a viral post and then it has a spike and an influx of leads and then nothing else. No, we want something that is going to be running linearly, predictably, consistently for years and, quite frankly, decades to come, okay? I'm running cold email like this. My plan is to run it for the next 20 years. My plan is to scale a business over 10, 20-year periods of time without stopping. And it just builds on itself like alchemy, right? With feedback loops, just like how iOS has built from iOS version 1 to version 17, right? Or even the iPhone, right? How it's developed and evolved. All of that, every single product, whether it's a software or a physical product at Apple, is a clear example of feedback loops and a clear example of what evolution can look like in life when diligence and consistency is applied to the process. So hopefully this was valuable for you guys. And yep, I will see you guys in another video. Make sure that you are diligent with your work today. Whatever it is that you do for a living, it doesn't have to be marketing. It doesn't have to be cold email. Anything you're doing, make sure that you bring diligence and consistency into your work. And you can absolutely see consistent results like what I've shown you here as well. And improved results, right? Things improving and becoming more efficient as you apply those two characteristics.